Greetings and welcome to my next podcast episode, part of my podcast Pilgrim of the Path podcast series. And yes, today, so last week we had the equinox. Now we have entered a new season, and it's not a gentle one, it's quite a confronting season. And you know what? If you can see it everywhere on the news, the social media, with friends, with colleagues. Everyone is talking about everything, and yeah, it's just the conflict is rising, tension is just getting more and thicker. People are quicker to react, to defend, and to attack, and all about I'm right, I'm right. This is what I'm going to do. It doesn't matter who's in my way. I'm just going to get what I want. Anger, jealousy, and fear. And we've all, yeah, we are faced with that every single day. And even if you, how can I say, if you try to keep yourself away from that conflict, I'm sure you still feel it, and you have felt it, because even in the energies globally, it's just very, very hectic, frantic. Okay, so you've probably been confronted with it in your work, in your relationships, even conversations that you might bump into people or suddenly feel, and then those conversations can turn into something um, starting to feel heavier than what they actually should. You start talking about things that's not really uplifting. And this is not a coincidence. This is just alignment. Because right now, while in my online membership, we're actually working with the root chakra. And interestingly enough, so this chakra is the part which governs your safety, your survival, control, where your groundedness, where you are in this world, how you show up. And when that part of you is triggered, you don't respond consciously, but you react. Okay, so here's where most people get it wrong. Most people think the problem is out there. It's that difficult colleague, the unfair situation, the other person who just doesn't get it, right? It's always out there. So, how can I? And so the people start to push harder. They start to talk louder. They argue louder. They get more defensive. They hold their higher, they hold their, not their higher ground, but they hold their ground higher and tighter. Um, because a lot of people don't want to be wrong or being seen as weak. So they're trying to prove they're right all the time. And you know what? That's not strength. It's just survival mode. It's just a programming, the ego that wants to be right so they can feel safe. But the real strength looks a little bit different. Not a little bit, actually a lot different. So it begins with that moment when you step out of that reaction, when you start to gather courage. The moment when you stop asking, how do I win this? Or how can I be right? Or just to try and get what you want for the ego's sake. Because but instead of asking, actually, okay, so what is actually happening here? Taking a step back and look at the situation from both sides. Because when you remove those layers and all the emotions, the conditioning, the roles, the need to be seen in a certain way, you come to face with yourself. And most people don't go there. It's hard, it's challenging, and not everybody is ready for that. But you know what? The secret to that, there's a secret, because if you do this, something shifts. You stop fighting for control. You start to allow things. And I'm not saying allowing in the sense of being weak, but you are starting to see things clearly. Um, and even if the other person doesn't see it, it's fine. It's this it's about you, because you are feeling these emotions. So you need to do the work, because you are feeling and you are experiencing these emotions. So, and when one step back and you see that, allowing and observing, you realize that not every situation needs a winner and a loser. And that from that place, there's a different kind of response that becomes available. And it's a very different. Um, I invite you, next time this would happen, just try and see it for yourself. And how your attitude shifts. It's, it reminds me of our gratitude journaling journey we did earlier. It's the same thing. Once you start to change your focus, your way of looking at things, your emotions or something inside you shifts. And all of a sudden you have a resolution. And it's not from weakness, it's from awareness. Awareness where a win win situation is not really, some people might see it as being weak or being passive. But when you are able to get into a situation and the result is a win win situation, that requires more presence, more awareness, more honesty, more responsibility than most people are willing to admit or to bring. And then there's the part that no one likes to talk about. Sometimes the conflict isn't with someone else. This is where the part now really gets deep into our inner work. Because we also have conflict within ourselves. You know, that tightness you feel, that inner friction, that sense that something is off, you're getting frustrated, you're stressed. Um, and most people try to distract themselves from it. They go to um, short attention span seeking activities. I don't know if I just said that right. Short attention. Sorry. Yeah, but you get what I mean. That scrolling, that watching, binge watching, and I'm not saying it's wrong. Obviously, um, but I'm saying as people are using it as an escape mechanism, there's a difference. Using it as an escape or just using it um, mindlessly. I don't know. I don't know how to put this. It's the intention that's behind it. When you're trying to run away from something, it's going to catch up with you sooner or later. And why don't you just deal with it now? Get it over with. So just stop, pause before you react, and before you actually say something. Just stop. I know it's very challenging, but it's amazing. The results are really amazing and powerful if you get to that point. So before you react, before you send that message, and before you defend your position, just take a breath. And I just want to go back here a bit, because when I say defend your position, I'm not saying that in a attacking way. I'm saying defend your position. Sometimes arguing or conflict can also bring about uh, your passion. Um, to say your passion in one sense, but also another sense of um, some people might start to stand up for themselves a little bit more, standing more up for the truth, standing up for what is actually fair and just in that position. So that can also be, defending your position. So it's a very, very deep conversation, this. But this is where you need to do that inner work. You need to find out what is aligned, what is not aligned, what is the ego, what is it that's actually the situation. And that's why I say when you step back, you are able to look at things in that way. It's not simple. And I mean, it is simple. It is simple. It is simple, but it's not easy. That's what I meant. Simple, but it's not that easy. And somehow I just feel this is very root chakra based work, because it's all about grounding, the presence, self honesty, and being safe in your own world, if I can say that. And it's not spiritual bypassing. It's not pretending everything is love and light. No, there are things that we need to work with. That's why it's called inner work, because it's actually work. Um, so you are meeting yourself where you are, but choosing according to your alignment, not your programming or past indoctrinations or society's ethics and what they think is right. No, it's actually looking inside yourself and feel what's right for you in your truth, which is aligned with your truth. So if things feel intense right now, good. It means something real is being revealed. It's always that point when you are being pushed and pushed and pushed, there's going to be a breakthrough. So the question is, are you going to react like everyone else, or are you going to actually do the work and find out what is aligned in for you, in your truth? And just on a side note, if you're ready to go deeper, if this really resonates with you and you want to actually, go deeper, and these kind of things are exactly what we're dealing with in the online membership. So please feel free anytime. Go to my website, see the resources there. Go if you want to join the membership. More than welcome. We are busy with the chakras now, so it's a perfect time for you to go deep. No surface level fixes. It's just real grounded transformation. Real life transformation. And with that, I'm looking forward to connect with you again next week. So, in the meantime, be kind to yourself, listen to yourself, breathe, and so we can all shine our light brightly for other people, so we can be kind to other people. And may that divine light within us all guide us on our path, each step of the way. Namaste.